My mission is to encourage my brothers and wake up the African peoples to unify our continent, Africa.
People ask me why their grandparents or great-grandparents never talked about the reset. Why don't they remember anything about it? Well, let me try to explain it. First, there were the Cabbage Patch babies. Now, these weren't just toys, you see. They became a symbol of something much bigger, a massive repopulation effort after the reset. These babies, they weren't born the usual way. They were produced almost mechanically in large numbers and distributed through a cold, efficient system. Strange, isn't it? Brings to mind ideas like cloning, doesn't it? And maybe that's why today you see so many folks who just seem to go with the flow. No questions, no thinking. Did you know they say nearly half the population doesn't even have an internal monologue? Imagine that, living life with a quiet mind, just following along. Those babies, those orphan trains, they were shipped off along with abandoned children who had survived the reset, taken from their families, sent to faraway lands. Many ended up in America. And when they got there, they were given a new story, the official version of history. No elders left to tell them the truth. Nobody to remember how things used to be. It made them easier to control, you see, easier to accept the new narrative.
Look at that man's comments. Look at him. Do you think he never admit the truth? Just look at his face. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear.
Yo, I wanted to know how this was on break. And she trying to put aluminum foil in the microwave. And I'm like, you know you can't put aluminum foil in the microwave, right? She like, oh my bad, I'm new here. Bitch, you can't do that nowhere.
I am going to space now, husband.
You're an astronaut?
I am astronauty.
Three, two, one. We have ignition.
Here's a quick fire round of things that are weird about the United States. Educational scholarships being a big deal is weird. Education is normally free or heavily subsidized in the developed world. Needing to do taxes if you're an employee is weird. Your politicians are bribed by the accounting industry to make your taxes difficult. Having healthcare through an employer is weird. So is doctors needing to argue with private companies for you to get what you're prescribed. Liking guns is weird. They never come up in conversations, and it's rare to even see police with them. Having military recruiters in school is weird. It's especially weird that the biggest incentives to join the military are healthcare and affordable education, which are just considered human rights in normal countries. Not getting guaranteed vacation days is weird. 20 to 40 days a year is the norm. Needing to post bail if you're not a threat to the public is weird. It shouldn't be a crime to be poor.
Have y'all been to space? Have you been to space? Go to space.
Getting dunked on for being earth poor and not being able to afford to go to space is in fact a new level of let them eat cake. I saw people saying, oh, what Katy Perry said was the new let them eat cake. No. This is the new let them eat cake. I even love the face expression. This is the let them eat cake face expression. I mean, have you even been to space? Gail, I've never even been to Washington State, and I'm American. I've never even been outside of the country, except for Canada, which I always say doesn't count because they're basically just nicer, more polite Americans with sane gun laws. I just need them to embrace this let them eat cake. Because what I can't stomach, and I don't think a lot of other people can stomach it anymore either, are these oligarchs and 1% percenters trying to rebrand their greed as doing something altruistic or good for humanity. Like, we are done with the fake philanthropist era of the billionaire class. Because at one point she's like, we're doing this for humanity. No, you're not. You did it for your ego and you wasted a lot of resources in the process. Just be honest about it.
Ain't got no papers for you to funnel me into your system. Assimilate my soul to psychological prison. Fuck your religion and all the blood on its hands. Your secret cemeteries where the spirits still dance. They offered money for our heads, put targets on our backs. So we lived in the shadows, whispering plans of attack. We withdraw, you react. A gabacho gets slapped. Step back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that.
This is the only one that I have seen myself. This is a king of America, probably the first king to ever invade Europe. Yeah, the Moors weren't the only ones. They didn't all come from Africa, they also came from this part of the world. One of the 3 Tartarian kings was killed. Were they all related? Well, are you ready for this? It's gonna get even crazier. I also wanted to show this. There is a lot of this information online. This is another one of the original Tartarians, one of the original Moorish Tartarians when they were combined, Morocco, Algeria, Egypt, which wasn't in Africa, but I'm not doing that today. Okay, wait a minute.
We asked 100 men, what would you do if your beautiful date told you the earth was flat?
Laugh at her.
Laugh at her.
Tell her she lying.
Tell her she lying. Pass the play.
We're playing.
Let's play. All right, Sarah. We talked to 100 men. What would you do if your beautiful date told you the earth was flat?
I hope he'd agree with me.
Agree with her? I would. I just met you. We're on a date. You fine. You tell me the earth flat. That's cool. I agree. Yeah.
All the astronauts were found that died on the Challenger with brothers, okay? 2 of them had
twin brothers.
Twin brothers. I don't know how many twins that you know, but like it's ironic.
What are the odds that 2 guys that are going on a space shuttle at the same time
are both twins?
Yeah, twin brothers. It's like
and Judith.
Yeah, Judith Resnick or something like that.
And did you see the interview where they find her? She's a professor, and they try to interview her, and she just walks away. Like, why are you so violent to the response? Why wouldn't you just be like, look? I know I look like her. It's kind of funny.
Dick Scobie, the captain guy, he's like, clearly is the same guy. That guy looks exactly the same. And does he have that weird company with the logo?
Cows with trees, and it's got the spiral.
Yeah, it could either look like perhaps the way that the Challenger blew up, like the smoke trail it left. It also kind of looks like 3 6s is what it looks like. You know, the funny part is like when people try to debunk that, they're like, well, this guy's not this guy. And I'm like thinking like, if one person is alive, it doesn't matter if they're all the same. You know, if one of them is alive, then the whole thing is a lie. You don't need every one of them to be correct. Maybe one of them is a different person. If one of them's correct, the whole thing is a lie.
Please can someone help explain how on this flight the moon is below the horizon by quite some way?
Total solar eclipse. This is what happens when the moon passes in front of the sun. But wait, the moon rises in the east and sets in the west. Why is the shadow moving from west to east? This is actually a really big question, and even astrophysicists sometimes have trouble answering it.
If we're on the planet and we're looking up, shouldn't they be traveling the same direction?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it has to do with rotation and revolution.
Yes.
And
we need to consult an expert on this. Simple, right?
Research flatter. What's a coincidence that you think about a lot?
I think about how a lot of the banks that received bailouts back in 2008 were heavily invested in by BlackRock. And that the person that the US government put in charge of managing those bailouts was Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. And also how one of the people who's credited with at least a good chunk of the popularity of subprime mortgage-backed securities, which is the type of investment that caused that collapse in the first place, was Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. That's a weird coincidence. I mean, it almost would look as if the US government paid Larry Fink to give himself taxpayer money as a reward for destroying the world economy. I mean, it would look that way if it weren't such a coincidence.
You know that per 12 USC 1431, banks can't actually loan you any money because they're the borrowers? Did you know that per 42 USC 408, asking for your social security number on any credit transaction or loans because there is no lawful money is a crime? Did you know that per 15 USC 1602G, that we the consumers are the creditors? Did you know that UCC 3-104 explains what a negotiable instrument is and how to use it? Did you know that per 31 USC 5118 that you can discharge all debts and it doesn't even have to be in legal tender anymore? And did you know that after you file a UCC1 form and set up a foreign trust account after you've authenticated your birth certificate, you have full access to House Joint Resolution 192 and Public Law 7310 for the discharge of debts? Those are the 6 infinity stones for you to just snap away your problem.
You're a sovereign being. That means you're a national.
Let him cook. I'm going to let him.
An important example that people do a lot of surface talking about is the Holocaust. See how quiet it is? The Holocaust in Germany was because what? Because the Semites of the Jewish religion were said by the Europeans to be non-white people. The Holocaust didn't just occur.
So you think that there's
Wait a minute. Do you see what I'm saying? If we have denial going on about this, all you have to do is look at what the Nazis are saying today. What the Klan is saying today.
So you're saying anti-Semitism has the same root?
If you read Hitler, if you read all the documentation...
Anti-Semitism has pigmentation as it's under the...
Had to do with the Semites. Look at the part of the world that the Semites come out of. I say that the word Semite comes from the Latin prefix semi, meaning half. It's a word like mulatto. It means a combination of black African women, Greek and Roman soldiers, and you had that mixture. 2,000 years of continuing mixture in Europe made a lighter group of people.
Okay, can I just...
that were still considered to be non-white.
Main problem right now are the Jews. The Jews are behind the Black Revolution. The Jews are behind the World Revolution of extermination of the white race. The Jewish problem is our first concern. Of course, the blacks have become like fish out of water here. They don't quite know how to act. They're not in their natural environment. We're going to put them back in their natural environment.
That means what?
In Africa.
We're not Americans. When you say American African, you're describing a type of an African.
Every single part of our society traces back to racism. Everything. The damn ice cream truck song is fucking racist. The reason we have credit scores and student loans is because they did not want black people to live next to them and go to school. Everything is encapsulated in the fact that they wanted black people to fail. Our society could be so much more progressive than it is now. Spent 400 years trying to keep minorities down, that we have not progressed in technology, in society, in anything. This country has spent so much time making sure that we don't surpass white people, that it's willing to cut its leg off during the sack race over and over and over and over again. And that's why we're in the fucking predicament that we're in now.
I have actually seen
illness caused by your guidelines. As people have already mentioned, the vast majority of people of color in this country are intolerant of the lactose that's in milk. Yet, because they think they have to eat this stuff, they go out, eat it, get sick, and think that they have some sort of intestinal problem. But in fact, when I encourage them to stop eating dairy, their problem's cleared up. And so it's really outrageous to encourage people to eat foods we know will make them sick, particularly when the number one reason it bans for dairy foods is its calcium content. But African American women are genetically protected against getting osteoporosis, so we're making them sick for no good reason. People who trash carbs left, right, and center here and never mention glycemic index. Whole food carbs that have their fiber are excellent. The ones that have their fiber removed, those are the problems. It's not carbs, it's the processed carbs. And lastly, there is no scientific or nutritional reason for people to be consuming dairy products. We have no more reason to suck on the teats of a cow than we have to suck on the breast of a postpartum weasel. And we've already talked about the hormone content that creates excess disease, such as prostate cancer, breast cancer. I tell people, as far as the nutrients contained in dairy foods, eating dairy products for the nutrients is equivalent to inhaling cigarette smoke for its oxygen content. It's not a good idea. So I want to encourage you, get the racism out, get the dairy out. Please do your
job, bro. Ain't expired or nothing, bro. Expiration date September 5th, 2024. Bro, that ain't the only one we found. My baby spotted this in her food. Look at this shit.
Y es un tema intestinal, porque está todo conectado. Entonces hay gente que la tratan de loca y tiene parásitos.
% of all pork is produced by one company in the U.S., and that is 100% owned by the Chinese. 4 companies control over 80% of the meat industry in the United States. More than 10,000 different additives are allowed in the U.S. food supply. 99% of chicken, 95% of hogs, 78% of cattle in the U.S. are raised in confinement buildings or feedlots. Means they're not moving around freely. 80% of the antibiotics consumed in the U.S. are fed to animals. Here's a stat. In 2016, 18.4 million pounds of antibiotics were sold for livestock. And that's what you're eating. Suicide rates amongst farmers are the highest than any other profession, and that includes veterans.
There is no such thing as biopsy spreading cancer. They say that out loud, but they have not even one scientific study to show for that. Whereas I have 50 to show that they do spread cancer. They just believe so strongly and so blindly in what they were told, and they're afraid of the truth because it's mean that for years and years and years, doctors have been killing people through biopsies. And they always blame it on the cancer instead of on the metastasis that was caused by the biopsy. Be very careful. Never do a prostate biopsy. Never do a breast biopsy. There are better ways. You don't need the mammogram with its own radiation. You don't need biopsy to tell you if it's cancer or not. You can be 99% sure just by doing an ultrasound with a technician who knows what she's doing.
It's not about anything else but the fact that they do not want minorities to thrive. That is what it's been about since day fucking one, when they got to this fucking land. They took it away from people who were already here and didn't stop doing it. I understand that sometimes we want to ha-ha hee-hee and live life and forget, but I'm always going to bring it up. If you don't want to hear it, don't talk to me, but I'm always going to talk about racism because it makes me fucking angry. You don't get to spend 400 plus years mistreating people based off of their skin tone alone. It caused ripples in generations. You haven't even began to try to undo it. But you want to get mad at me because every time I talk about racism, you get annoyed. because every time I bring up something, oh, it's because this, it's because of race, it's because of racism, you get mad. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, my fellow ladies out there. So, men think they own you. Take it from somebody that used to be a man. You got boobs. You got a vajayjay. Guess what, honey? You own them. Trust me, they want it. Make them earn it.
Who's having a good time? I am, baby. Oh my God. Why am I still up here? Why must I work so hard? Oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. I'm Madonna, and I love this attention, but also I'm very tired.
There's something going on right now on kids' iPhones and everything they're watching on. If they go on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or any like reel system, fam, there's content. I don't know if have you seen the Minion AI content?
Minion AI? No, what the heck?
So there's a whole bunch of these Minion videos popping up on kids'
like
For You
Despicable
pages.
Me Minion?
Yeah, Despicable Me Minions, right? Now, they're doing really, really weird stuff on camera. And you guys have to watch your kids. Try to see if this is on their phone. There's Minions and it's AI generated, right? They're like morphing into weird shapes. They're grabbing different things. But if you look really closely, they're doing, some of them, violent and terrible acts. Now check this out. Those AI generated videos, what they are is people took videos from the dark web of
and what?
And all of these different putting it into the AI generator, changing it into Minions and posting it for kids to watch.
What the?
Yeah. Be careful if you guys see any of your little cousins, any like children that you know.
Yeah.
Be careful if they're watching that stuff.
Chilling outside eating Cheetos. Chilling with my nigga, we was sipping on some Tito's. Trying to figure out how we was about to get some free codes. Next thing you know, we got jumped by some mosquitoes. One was on my arm, one was on my leg. Two was on my ear, three was on my head. My bro said, damn bro, you turning red. I killed four, they came back, I thought they was dead. I slapped one, it came back and bit up my neck. On top of that, it was hot, I'm starting to sweat.
Hello, this is Brian Nickel, the new CEO of Starbucks, and he'll be flying 1,600 kilometers to the office every day on his private jet. That's right. As part of his signing package, he's going to fly over 1,000 miles from Newport Beach to their headquarters, and he's not going to be required to relocate. Now, in fairness, they say every day, but that's only 3 days a week, the only times he'll be working. His base salary is $1.6 million. But due to cash bonuses and equity awards, which I'm too poor to know what that even means, his base salary could be worth over $100 million a year. But remember to use your reusable straws to save the planet.
The CC unilaterally redefined 200 years of the world's understanding of what constitutes a vaccine without so much as an explanation, public discussion, hearing, or vote.
Well, I'm an architect of 20 years, a member of the American Institute of Architects, and have been studying steel-framed, fireproof buildings for about that long.
We ask that for clarification because as we get into this, we want people to make sure that you're not just somebody with a wacky idea.
Right.
Okay, you come with some science to you. What is the official reason for the collapse of the World Trade Center towers?
Well, we're told that the planes hit the buildings and there was an explosion and a fire, and about an hour and a half later, in the case of the North Tower, the buildings collapsed due to structural weakening due to the fires. The problem is that we don't have large gradual deformations associated with collapses, and fires in high-rises have never brought down a steel frame high-rise building at all, ever. And what we have, unfortunately, is the evidence in the Twin Towers and the third skyscraper to collapse that day, which most people don't know anything about it. We have the evidence of the 10 key features of controlled demolition. In the case of Building 7, it collapses straight down into its own footprint at free fall speed in the first 100 feet. It's dropping, as you can see, symmetrically, smoothly, at free fall speed in the first 100 feet, 2.5 seconds. This is uncanny. There's 40,000 tons of structural steel designed to resist this collapse.
So what, a 47-story building?
Yeah, this is called Building 7, right? A football field away from the Twin Towers.
Okay, so what we're showing is left what happened. In fact, right is a controlled where you are using, or the people who made this happen, used demolition.
Indeed, and this is a direct comparison. And you can see that, indeed, almost free fall speed, free fall acceleration through 40,000 tons of structural steel. That is uncanny. So we have 700 architects and engineers demanding a new investigation as a result of this evidence and the evidence in the World Trade Center that is very explosive. Almost every architect and engineer we show this information to agrees with us that these are controlled demolitions. If we can get them to look at the information, because obviously the implications of a controlled demolition are dark for our country, because that means somebody besides Al-Qaeda was involved, because these have to be easily 3 of the most highly secure buildings outside the Pentagon.
First of all, you cannot take an organ from a dead body, from a cadaver. Within 3 minutes of no oxygen, you're going to start damaging brain cells, and within 5 minutes, you're going to have cellular death. You have got to be alive to take your organs. That's the end of it. You're not dead. There's no such thing as brain death. If your heart is beating, if you are metabolizing fluids, if you are metabolizing a liquid feed, a soya feed, which they give you, and you're having bowel movements, you are not dead. You're not dead. It's a lie. They're talking about the brain stem, where you've got the hypothalamus, the center that controls your blood pressure, your heartbeat, but the rest, you're not dead. It's a lie. It was a lie that was manufactured so that they could do their eugenics, taking organs from one person to the next. Who makes the best organ donor? Under 30 with a beating heart, a circulation, and ideally on a ventilator. When is the decision made to take your organs? Very early on, probably before you are even aware what they are doing. Because the treatment to preserve your organs is very different to the treatment to save your life. In the UK on the 22nd of May, everybody became an organ donor unless you opt out. People do not know.
It doesn't matter who's long or wide, just be like, just be like, just be like, just be like.